Well, as promised, thought I would do a walk-around video of my 93 Caprice. It's tempting to start with the rust, but thought I would just give a brief overview of the car. This, like as I said in the other video, this was a North Carolina state cruiser from 93 to 96 or so, and it was driven another 4 years by the next owner. Actually, the owner was Glenn Grisham, who wrote for Circle Track magazine. He was editor or something. Actually, he was a known name, but I couldn't find much on him recently. I hope he hasn't passed away. I would have liked to contact him, actually. Just I think he would get a kick out of this. But yeah, as you can see, I like the Impel SS. So what do? I put the Impel SS grill on it. I had it painted. I get the Impel SS wheels. Those are real GM wheels, which I don't think you can even get anymore. The front of the car has been painted. At least the hood and fenders have been painted. The bumper has not been, and you can see it's, pretty bad. A lot of rock chips over the years. Headlights too. I just had the windshield done actually on this thing in the spring, last spring. Maybe it was later than that. Anyway, what else is interesting on this car? Oh, Impel SS knockoff spoiler. Dual exhaust. This is actually an Impel SS or LT1 catback. I've got LT1 manifolds and cats on here, which was quite a project to do. If anybody's interested in how I did that, let me know. Guessing there's probably 2 people in the entire world that might even care about that these days. I don't even know who they are. This sucks. Oh boy. I'll go over the rust in a bit, but yeah, that's not the best, huh? Alright. So there she is. 350 cubes of glory. It's the L05. It's the police spec L05. In fact, might be the last engine GM made that had a separate police calibration and engine specification. This engine was rated at 205 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. The civilian version of this engine was 180, so they give a nice 25 horsepower bump with a bigger exhaust. Oh no, my serpentine belt's going. Better throw the car away. Anyway. Did a few things over the years here. I put on some really large battery cables, which you can't see really well, but really helped out in the cranking, especially in the cold. And I don't know if I was really even concerned about the stereo, but it certainly helped for cranking and just general getting the most from the alternator and battery. Did run my house off this car famously off an inverter, which was probably made possible by such a giant cable from the alternator and obviously this dual post battery. Electric fans from a LT1. These are particular ones are from a 95 Mass State Cruiser I got from a junkyard probably 15 years ago, probably more like 18 years ago. Anyway, it was a long time ago. So I did electric fans. I have a separate fan controller, which is right down here. Gone through a couple of those over the years. This intake, this is from a Cadillac 4.5 V8, like a late 80s, early 90s type of deal. And then I have a PVC pipe that goes to the a late model Chevy truck. Wasn't late model, late 90s Chevy truck air intake. Here are my LT1 exhaust manifolds. These require modification to bolt onto the L05. The rear bolt hole on the LT1 is too far back. I don't think you can see that on here. Maybe you can. Too far back, so you actually have to drill and end mill a hole so you really need a machine shop for that. I think that has to be done on the other side too. Other than that, they bolt right on, obviously. So yeah, LT1 manifolds, LT1 cats, LT1 catback. Had to modify other stuff, but then I had to do a gear reduction starter from actually the same truck that gave me this intake. So like a 98 Chevy truck. I had to adjust my shift linkage to clear it. I had to get a different transmission mount entirely, which required a different transmission tail shaft output housing. I had to tweak a exhaust hanger on the driver's side because there wasn't one. This car was a single exhaust car, and add a hanger for the driver's side tailpipe. That took me 3 days on a lift. I probably could have done it faster if I knew what I was doing. This was a long time ago, back in 04. But the exhaust is still in the car now, at least the front half of it. I've gone through a couple catbacks over the years. I've done the, this is a master cylinder from, I don't know, 96 9C1. I'm not sure which one it's from. And the booster's from something else, another LT1 car. This windshield washer tank's from a LT1 car. I had to relocate this evap. I changed the car over to from R12. This is the original AC compressor. The AC itself works well. The blower doesn't work that well because I think I have a bunch of crap in my evaporator or heater core. Mouse stuff, pine needles, leaves, I'm not really sure. So the airflow isn't that good, but the compressor itself and the temperature the air generates is very cold. You know, upper 30s is possible. If I had good airflow, I think I could really refrigerate the interior of this car like I used to be able to. That's probably it for the hood. Let's do an interior here. So this is all stock. I did enjoy this car because it was like a detective type car, so it never had a cage in it. It did have a roof, roof lights, and it had a whip back here, but never had a cage. And you know, cloth seats, cloth carpet, you know, power seats, 6-way on the door, like fanciness. Power windows. This has auto down, as all 91 and up Caprices do. 4-wheel ABS. Power heated mirrors. That's somewhat of a luxury, actually. Even this pretty recently, or maybe as recently as 10 years ago, that was considered still kind of a luxury feature. You know, great dashboard. Always love the dashboard on this car. I should say the gauge cluster. You know, this is really the information that you need, right? And it's all analog. You know, trip odometer, voltage, coolant temp, and it's not computer controlled. It's the actual coolant temp from a sensor in the head, right? None of that fake crap. Digital certified speedometer that goes to whatever. I've personally seen as high as 139 on that display, just saying. Again, analog tach. And fuel gauge and oil pressure. Oil pressure is also, of course, a discrete sensor sending unit. Let's get a shot of the mileage here. Yep, 312, 501.3. Yeah, I put that head unit in probably back in 2001 as a Pioneer, as a GM size. It still works fine to this day. Actually, a pretty good head unit, I have to say. Served me very well. You can see a couple of holes from, you know, when the cops had their stuff in the car. There's another couple up here on the A-pillar. I don't know what else to say. Cruise control, you know, intermittent wipers, cracked dash. This is the second dashboard I've had on this car. It's cracked. You really have to protect it with that sun guard thing. Should unlock. Oh, power locks, of course. I always found this car to be pretty comfortable, actually. You know, it's not the most luxurious car, but it's very wide. Good leg room. You know, it's always very comfortable traveling. Everyone always said they were comfortable riding in this car, and I believe them. Hey, look, an ashtray. I've seen people point these out on recent videos if it's some kind of novelty. I think a lot of cars had them back in the day. Just gonna try and pop in the trunk. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Give me a second here. I guess not. I guess we'll pop it in. Oh yeah, check it out. Right? Actually, that's not the only thing that does that. So here's this. And there's this. Hey, what's that? Fuel filler. Old school. There's my 12-inch Sherwin Vega. I've had for forever. Good subwoofer, 400 watts RMS. It'll do anything I need it to do. I've never had an amp big enough to use it all, frankly, and it's done what I needed. In fact, there it is. Nice, cheapo, full-size spare. I think I replaced this carpet years ago. But yeah, it's a trunk. Oh, this is good. There's all the stickers I've done over the years. This isn't really representative, but you got Hotchkiss for suspension. I still have some tie rod. The adjusters, the solid adjusters versus the stamped ones. Much stiffer, better steering response. Dynamax, of course. Exhaust. So I don't know what the clear image was. Oh, brake biasing. UMI was control arms. Shocks.com for Bilstein's. Stop Tech. I don't know. What do I even run for Stop Tech? Brake rotors. Oh, True Track differential. Love that. It's Torsen. EBC. I did EBC pads for a while. I don't know. I'm kind of into the Hawk HPS these days. Everybody loves a good SPID list. So these are the RPO codes. I'll leave it here for a second. It's got 9C1 and Hello 5 and a bunch of other recognizable ones. All right. So as far as the rust on the exterior goes, yeah, this is starting to go. Honestly, this is still completely solid. I could say that if that was the car's problem. I mean, I had this years ago. Big deal. Shockingly, the B pillar down here actually looks really good, considering it is starting to go, but it's mostly all there. Kind of unbelievable. All in the door panels here. Looks pretty good. The other side's not as good. I don't know what that means. You do have this wheel well stuff, this cancer. Yep, that's kind of what happens. And then go over to this side. Same cancer here. As you can see, it's just all gone. And this is starting to open up too. Actually starting. It's been open. Now check out this B pillar. This is totally rusted compared to the other side, which was almost perfect. I mean, by comparison, right? Who knows? Who knows? And even down here, clearly there's a difference. This wasn't, just because of the way they built the car. Something environmental happened to cause this. I don't know what. And then obviously this has been bubbling for a long time and finally rusted through. So yeah, these cars got problems, no doubt. But under here is not terrible. I have definitely seen worse. These wheel wells have used to be really nice. Obviously, they're not so nice now. But this radiator support down here, for example, is not bad. In fact, it's actually better than my '96 Roadmaster that I just bought. That's overall much cleaner. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't understand why some stuff rusts and some stuff doesn't. It's just environmental circumstances, I guess. And like I said, a lot of the parts on the car, like the frame in many sections, looks very good. Especially all in the front where it got a lot of oil deposits from the engine oil, power steering, coolant, and what have you. So I guess that's it for the exterior. I should mention, I almost didn't because it seems so irrelevant to me now, but it's probably worth mentioning that when I bought this car back in '01, it had a beautiful silver paint job on it. It was a repaint. The North Carolina State Police repaint all their cars apparently before they go to auction, but it was a cheap paint job, or I should say like a thin paint job. The paint itself looked good, but it was thin, and the clear coat obviously has not weathered well by this time. But I had a lot of good years of really nice paint on this car, and I really enjoyed that. Not so good now. So I guess that's it for now, until I think of something else to shoot.